Hello, everyone. I am Sam Eckmann from Gold Derby, and joining me is Jaime Camil, who is featured in the fantastic new musical series Schmigadoon. And I don't think this show could have come at a more perfect time, I think, because it is so full of joy and overwhelming positivity. And I think that's sort of what we all needed after coming out of this pandemic moment. At least I did. I'll speak for myself.
Dude, all of us. I was about to say, you think, Sam? Yeah, yeah, big time, right?
Yeah, but when you're filming it, was that kind of the vibe on set? Was it also, did that translate to the behind the scenes atmosphere as well, that positivity?
It was, well, first of all, thank you for having me, Sam. Always a pleasure to speak with you guys. But you know what? It was no, because I'll explain to you. Okay, yes. Let me organize my thoughts here. Like Sofia Vergara says, it's very difficult to be me because I have to think in Spanish and then automatically translate into English. So it's very complicated to be in my mind, in my brain. No, it was. We love these humans so much. We have an open chat. We chat every week. Alan, Ariana, Kristen, Cinco, Anne, Jane, Dove, Fred Armisen. Like we have an open chat and we are talking to each other constantly, at least once a week. No joke, since we stopped season one, right? But we shot it in the middle of the pandemic. We were in Canada and borders were closed. So all the Schmigadoonians, let's say we had like maybe film, like actual work days, 15, all of us at least, or maybe, I mean, at the most, maybe 18 days. It was an 18-day gig. But because of the pandemic, we couldn't fly back and forth. In my case, Los Angeles, Vancouver, which is closer. For Cecily, was a bit more difficult because she had to go to New York, coast to coast. But so we stayed in Vancouver for 75 days straight, because even if you were able to fly back and forth, you would have quarantine for 14 days before doing anything, right? And we could not be on the set if we didn't have a call. If we didn't work that day, we couldn't be on set, because of the cross-contamination thing. Like we shot it, what was this, October, November of 2020. So, middle of everybody, mask, we hate Fauci, we love Fauci. Like it was like that moment. So we couldn't mingle with each other the way we wanted it to. Having said this, even though that didn't happen, we all developed a bond between us, a really sincere and honest friendship bond between the cast. And that it has, you can see it on our chat. We talk to each other every week, and that doesn't happen in projects very often. So for some reason, even though we were not interacting with each other offset, maybe one or twice we went for dinner or something like that, we really developed a true and sincere love and friendship for each other, which was very odd, maybe because we were going through this difficult time together, the pandemic, or one of the few shows that were back during the pandemic. I think we were if I'm not mistaken, we were the first NBC Universal show back after the pandemic. I think so.
Wow.
So imagine, yeah.
Yeah, and the rest of that cast is like, it's like a dream casting for a Broadway musical.
When they told me, dude, when Cinco tells me the cast, I'm like, yeah, okay, well, this is your letter to Santa. This is your dream cast. Who is actually gonna be in the show? And he was like, no, these guys. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, these guys are confirmed. It was crazy. Yeah, like you say, it's a dream cast.
Yeah. And you do have plenty of experience on stage prior to this. How does kind of the rehearsal process and preparation process for a show like this compare to what you'd have to do for like a stage show?
Well, as you know, on stage shows, you're lucky if you get you usually get 2 weeks per act, right? So you rehearse two weeks for the first act, and you're lucky if the production has a lot of money, you might get 3 weeks per act. When I do the Broadway productions here at the Hollywood Bowl, like Mamma Mia or whatever, that's a little more stressful. You have like 8 days, or I don't know if it's a week or a week and a half for act. So that was very stressful. But again, because of the pandemic situation and we, trying to be, it was crazy. We didn't have as much rehearsal as we would have wanted to have, but because all of the cast was so familiar with the Broadway process and how fast it is and how fast paced it is and how quickly you have, when I was doing the Mambo Kings, we did the matinee at the Golden Gate Theater, and then we had notes for the evening show that you had to apply for the evening show. So because we were all very used to that process, it wasn't that difficult. But again, because of the pandemic, the middle of the pandemic and everything, we had to rehearse with masks. It got to a point that we told the COVID authority or the COVID representative, like, you know what, we are the safest humans here because we get tested 3 times a week. We are in a safe bubble. We are in a, you know how they have the red, the yellow zone, whatever. We are all in red zones. The poor ensemble couldn't breathe properly because of the masks. So it got to a point where we have to ask, can we please take the masks off to sing? Like when we are rehearsing, can we? And well, okay, just take them off, sing, and put them back on. It was crazy, but it was beautiful as well because we sang live on the show. Like my song "Suddenly" with Ariana DeBose, which is kind of like the only serious song that is not like a jokey performing a jokey kind of way. 80% of that song was recorded live, but then because Ariana's scene with Keegan was on a different day than my scene with Cecily, that little part was pre-recorded. But we all sang live. It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, I loved that number, and I loved the kind of trick of the staging where the two couples sort of cross over into each other's worlds in the choreography. What was it like learning the dance? Was it all shot on the one set, or did you have to do some of it in 2 different locations as well?
Very small piece. Like, for example, when Doc Lopez it's outside the gazebo or whatever you call the little, it's a gazebo, right?
Gazebo, yep.
Yeah, when we're out there and Cecily comes out and Doc Lopez sinceres himself with Cecily, saying that he's a controlling whatever, blah, blah. That little, the first part of the song, and then when they do the very first step of the song, that was done there. And then what remained from the dance was shot in the same stage as Keegan and Ariana and Cecily and myself with a green screen behind. So they only inserted the backdrop of each world, of each character's world. But the dance was pretty much done at the same time with both of us, with the 2 couples, and we rehearse for 1 or 2 days. It's not that the ensemble, those guys, those are like my superheroes. Their dances were like heavy to learn. Suddenly wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. And a lot of your great scenes are with Cecily Strong. What is she like as a scene partner?
Cecily's amazing, Sam, because Cecily from SNL, right? And she's brilliant on SNL. But what I love about the show, and I say this in every single interview, what I love about Schmigadoon is how it portrayed and it showcased Cecily's talent. She's an extremely gifted singer, man. She sings so beautifully, and she's such a deep, dramatic actor. And so, she shows her talent a little bit limited on SNL, like single or maybe double layer on SNL. But then she gets these projects where she can really showcase her many levels and her depth as an actress, and she has a beautiful singing voice, beautiful singing voice. So I love what this project represents for Cecily and what it did to Cecily, to be honest.
Yeah, and still gets to do a bit of comedy. I have to say, one of my favorite little comedic subplots is where your parents, she's trying to get them to be a little bit more active. What was
They die.
What was your reaction to that scene when you read it?
Dude, I laughed out loud, like and for the first time they're going to live. Cut to oh my God. That's one of the many moments that when I was first reading the script, I burst with laughter when I read that scene. It was very, very, very funny.
Yeah. And the show, as you said, it taps into all of these classic musical motifs, and in many cases, either spoofs them or upends the expectations. I'm wondering, kind of, when you were starting out as an actor, you have a history of musicals. What musicals or pieces of theater kind of spoke to you and inspired you?
Well, I grew up in Mexico City, so unfortunately, we didn't have the access to the big Broadway shows of that time, right? So, but we had a very cool theater in Mexico, musical theater. So I watched a show called After the Deluge, is how you pronounce it, the deluge, right? A big storm,
Yes,
water.
deluge. Yeah,
deluge. After the deluge. It's an Italian play, a beautiful play, and I watched that as a kid. Then I got to play Father Silvestre for that play, and it was closing a beautiful cycle. But I watched that play when I was super, super young, and I'm like, wow, I want to do this for a living. And then I watched like crazy fun plays like Cachun Cachun Ra Ra, which was a spin-off from a TV show. Imagine doing Liv and Maddie for live theater, right? Something like that. It was crazy. So I watched that. And then, of course, you start, the big productions started to come to Mexico, like Rent, or at least versions of them, right? Like versions of Rent. Now we have a proper big producers in Mexico, like Morris Gilbert or Claudio Carrera or Alejandro Go. They buy these properties and they bring them to Mexico, but they follow all the protocols and they follow all the guidelines of the Broadway show. So now you see the same show, just in Spanish, right? And they started to come, but all of them, I watched all of them. But what pushed me as a performer to say, I want to do this, and I can do this, and I will have a blast doing it, was definitely After the Deluge.
Mm. And I saw that you have a partnership actually with Paramount to bring Spanish language material forward. What makes you excited about that opportunity?
It's super cool because you get to explore so many IPs, so many intellectual properties that are out there from many, many parts of the world. And also you get to explore original content. I've been privileged enough I already had many, many Zoom conversations and in-person conversations with incredible creative minds. They have these ideas of shows and from, charros versus Nazis to, you name it. It's just, they're so creative. They have so many ideas. Of course, the challenging part is to ground those ideas and to present them in a way that they could hold either a feature film or they could hold at least a couple of seasons of a TV show, right? But then you have the Bible, and then they explain to you the arc of the character. It's just a beautiful process, man. To create a content for a platform as powerful as Paramount Plus, and to be a part of their family after they have created so many stories that have, marked our childhood and the world in this beautiful storytelling adventure that they have been doing for years and years and years. To be a part of that is very, very special. And just the creative process of finding something new from not from nothing, because it comes from the mind and from the heart and soul from incredibly creative people, right? But just materializing that idea, it's so exciting, man. It's so challenging, but at the same time, it's so magnificently exciting.
Well, it's very exciting. I can't wait to see what comes of it. And
Thanks.
To bring us back to Schmigadoon, I'm just wondering, you said you had, not necessarily growing up with the Broadway shows that the show is bringing up, but has being on this show sort of sparked any type of musical dreams in terms of, is there anything you are really hoping for season 2, or any type of musicals that you're hoping to do in the future?
Do you know something about season 2 or no?
I don't know anything. I'm
zero.
Yeah.
I could tell you, but the thing, I don't think this could go on the record.
Well,
So
we don't want to spoil anything. No spoilers.
no,
But
I mean I
are
can
there?
tell you, but
Yeah.
can you if you cannot edit this video, then I won't tell you. I'll
Don't
tell you
tell me.
when
I'll be left in the
when we
dark.
stop recording. When we stop recording, I tell you. But no, you know what? Yes, I've always wanted to play Sweeney Todd. Don't ask me why. I've always
It's my
wanted to
favorite
do that.
show.
You're right. Thank you. I'm not alone on this one. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I really hope that whenever they bring, because they must, whenever they bring The Greatest Showman to Broadway, I will love to play that character as well.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yes.
We'll hope. I sincerely hope that happens.
Of
for you.
course, Hugh Jackman will have to do the first 6 months. I get it. I get it. It's his project. But then I will be more than happy to step in.
Well, Hugh, watch out. We have a Greatest Showman on our hands.
Yeah, or actually, Hugh, please, whenever you need to audition, I'm available.
Well, Jaime, thank you so much for sitting down to talk to me. It's a pleasure to meet you, and fantastic job with Schmigadoon. I can't wait to be surprised and see where it goes next.
Well, you're the best, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much always for supporting my career. Thank you, man.
Thank you.